Welcome. This is the Friday News Dump for actually Saturday, July 13th, 2013. My name is Francis Goodwin. This is my sidekick, Gregory Crawford. And we're bringing you a summary of the week's news with a particular focus on late-breaking news, stories that may have been released after the close of business on Friday in an effort to not have them get too much attention. Thanks for joining us. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 closed yesterday at record highs, with the Nasdaq hitting its highest level in 10 years.
Greece on Tuesday secured an additional 6.2 billion euros from the European Commission, the European Central Bank and the International Monetary Fund, despite warnings that the Greek government is moving too slow to reform the government.
A U.S. District Court ruled Wednesday that Apple conspired to fix prices of ebooks. The ruling could expose Apple to significant damages.
Dump your Apple stock is all I got to say. It's gonna go down the tubes.
Well, it's probably not going to go down the toilet because there's just too much happening with Apple.
And I am not a licensed broker or anything like that, so don't do any trading on my account, but this is my opinion.
This is my lovely wife, Deborah, running the camera and providing peanut gallery commentary. We're glad she's joining us.
Islamic extremists killed 42 people last Saturday, mainly students, in an attack on the government secondary school boarding school in the Nigerian town of Mamudo in Yobe State.
Where is that?
In Nigeria.
Okay.
A bomb in a market street in eastern Pakistan last Saturday killed 4 people and wounded 47 others.
A serial blast injured 5 people Sunday near Mahabodhi Temple in Bodh Gaya in the Indian state of Bihar.
At least 42 people have been killed and hundreds injured after the Egyptian army raided a sit-in by supporters of former President Mohamed Morsi in Cairo.
A car bomb on Tuesday targeted the office of the Shia militant group Hezbollah, located in the Lebanese capital of Beirut, and injured 53 people.
Russia Tuesday blamed Syrian rebels for a chemical attack after a scientific analysis indicated that a deadly projectile that hit a suburb of the Syrian city of Aleppo March 19th contained the nerve gas sarin and nerve agent sarin and was most likely fired by rebels.
Syrians in Aleppo staged a protest on Wednesday against a rebel siege of government-held areas in the city.
17 people were killed by a roadside bomb Tuesday in western Afghanistan.
And bomb and gun attacks across Iraq on Thursday killed more than 30 people, including members of the Iraqi security forces.
The United Nations hybrid operation in Darfur confirmed today that 7 peacekeepers were killed and 17 injured in a patrol while returning to their base near Nyala, the capital of Sudan's South Darfur state.
American country music star Randy Travis suffered a stroke on Wednesday while being hospitalized for congestive heart failure.
Really? How old is he?
He's not that old.
I think he's about 56, I believe, in his mid-50s. I got a little background on it.
He's got a myopathy or something like that was happening, which is what landed him in the hospital in the first place, I think.
Yeah, but he's been having a hell of a time for the last several years. He was divorced from his wife, and he keeps showing up drunk and getting arrested and wrecking cars. So he just seems to be really having a trouble time with the drinking anyway. I guess.
Like every country, Western.
I was going to say.
I hate to be.
Yeah.
He has to have something to sing songs about.
Well, that seems
I'm sorry,
too,
I wish him well. He's actually, I think, one of the good guys as far as that goes in the country music world.
You just hate to see successful performers have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
At least 14 people were killed last Saturday in Pakistan as Pakistan Railways Karakoram Express ran over a rickshaw.
5 people were killed last Saturday, 100 were missing, and 2,000 were evacuated after a runaway train carrying crude oil derailed and exploded in the town of Lac Mégantic in Quebec, Canada.
Okay, this is a story that I think is a conspiracy, because they're using this to say, oh, well, we should build the Keystone Pipeline, because if we had the Keystone Pipeline, then this wouldn't be on this oil wouldn't be on trains in the first place. And nobody can figure out how did the brakes fail.
They weren't properly set by all accounts, so.
Well,
It can happen. It can happen.
Well,
I hate to say.
I know what you're saying, Deborah, but it doesn't make much sense. I know that I saw on Bloomberg, I mentioned to you the next day or 2 days later, a discussion about whether that would occur, whether the danger of trying to move the stuff through railways would prompt people to prefer to have the pipeline built. We know we don't need that oil. That oil is just going to accelerate global warming. And the smart thing for us all to do, I believe, is just to skip it, not do either, not wreck the beautiful pristine wilderness of Canada, not ship it on rail cars, and not build the pipeline. But
Yeah, supposedly this town in Quebec is just this beautiful.
Not anymore.
No, it's like I saw some pictures of it from space. It's just like a crater.
I would think.
And it was this beautiful,
pretty bad.
picturesque little town on the lake, and
30 people were vaporized. They don't even know where they are.
they don't even know where they are.
Yeah.
I don't think the Canadians are, as a rule, quite as despicably underhanded. I mean, if it was an American town, I'd be more likely to believe what you were suggesting.
Yeah, but this is a multinational corporations that we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not
They'll
Canadian.
kill anybody. They'll kill their own mothers. But
A bigger issue with this, when it makes more sense, is there's a union rule, a rule that was negotiated by the union, that there has to be a minimum of 2 operators on every train. This train company, this railroad, got a waiver for that. There was
dispensation,
one engineer on this entire, it was 70 cars, something like that. So it was his responsibility to set the brakes on all this thing. But it's really, it's questionable whether there shouldn't have been another engineer on there.
But if the brakes were set, because it happened like hours after the train was parked.
What it is he has to use discretion. There's no way that I guess he could set 70 brakes. It's almost a mile-long train. So, it would take him an hour or two just to set the brakes. And I don't even know what's involved in setting the brakes. Another issue that comes up out of it is, why if the air pressure failed, these are air brakes, at least the main brakes, supposedly in other forms of transport, if the power fails, the brakes lock. Right,
set.
Set.
There's an emergency thing, just like on an elevator or something like that.
For some reason, that wasn't the case here. The air brakes failed, or the air pressure failed for some reason, and then the brakes just opened and released, which, I don't know.
It sounds fishy to me.
Yeah.
Living with you, I've come to see conspiracy theories in almost anything, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
But this one does not add up for me.
Oh, you mean like the way I was saying it for more than a decade, that they're tapping our phones, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know.
which turns out to be true.
And reading our emails and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you were right on that one, honey.
Anyway, the death toll is more than 20. I think maybe I saw 23 today.
Oh, they found it's up to 33 now because they found a few more bodies. So
yeah, but there's a bunch of people that are just gone, missing.
Yeah.
The total is more than 50 between confirmed dead and missing.
Well,
yeah, well, it's a terrible thing.
It's a terrible thing. And
A Boeing 777 flown by Asiana Airlines crash-landed last Saturday in San Francisco International Airport with 3 dead and 180 injured. 16 people remained hospitalized, including 2 adults in critical condition.
At least one of the dead was run over by a rescue vehicle. That's ironic, or too bad, Here's a story that I didn't see much attention paid to. A de Havilland Otter Air taxi crashed Sunday near the Soldotna Airport in Soldotna, Alaska, killing all 10 people aboard. So we had 3 dead in San Francisco the day before, and we've heard about it endlessly. 10 dead in Alaska. Had you heard about that story?
no, was it a private plane or?
Well, the de Havilland Twin Otter is a standard commuter plane. It's a wing-over design, twin-engine. I've been in them a dozen times.
And I know that flying by airplane like that in Alaska is just like taking a taxi in Manhattan.
Yeah, that's the only way you get around in some of those parts. So.
Right, but no, I heard nothing of that. Heard nothing of that.
At least 12 people were killed on Monday and a dozen injured when a dilapidated hotel collapsed in the Indian city of Hyderabad.
In the greater Toronto area Monday, nearly 5 inches of rain fell over a 4 to 6 hour span, causing major flooding, bursting most rivers and creeks. It is the single highest rain total in a day since Hurricane Hazel.
The head of Japan's Nuclear Regulatory Authority revealed on Wednesday that the Fukushima nuclear plant is likely leaking radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean, and has been doing so ever since the disaster began in March of 2011.
Hello.
The official said that neither his staff nor the plant's operator knows exactly where the leaks are coming from or how to stop them.
And do you have this coming? But the guy that was the plant manager at the time of the disaster died of cancer last week?
Yes.
I'm sorry you had that coming. Okay.
Well, I did, but the thing is I'm messing around with the teleprompter now. Here we go. The head of the Fukushima plant, who led the life-risking battle to stabilize the crippled reactors when they were spiraling into meltdown 2 years ago, died of esophageal cancer. Is that pronounced right?
Esophageal.
Esophageal cancer Tuesday. He was 58. TEPCO's officials say his illness was not related
That was
to the radiation exposure.
Not related.
I mean, please. Come
he was
on, guys.
supposedly a
I
big
mean, we were
hero.
born at night, but not last night.
But he
Just
was
lie,
a huge hero. At
Oh
the
yeah,
time,
he was,
supposedly.
and he
He
was beloved by his workers.
Yeah, stayed on the site and.
And he supposedly stood up to his superiors even before the disaster. He was the kind of guy that would,
And when it was happening, they told him not to pump the seawater in to cool the reactors, and he said, "Sorry, it's the only thing that's going to prevent,
a complete
a
meltdown.
complete meltdown." And he just continued to do it, and so he was a hero. And rest in peace, dude.
Yeah.
That's too bad. A rain-triggered landslide Wednesday in the southern China's Sichuan province buried 30 to 40 people.
Floods in Indian state of Assam Thursday forced nearly 250,000 people to leave their homes.
And heavy rain in southwest China on Thursday caused floods and landslides with at least 9 people dead and 62 missing.
Taiwan evacuated 2,000 tourists Thursday as prepared for Typhoon Solek, which is actually hit today. And it's earlier there, so it'd be interesting to get some more information on that.
The typhoon prompted the People's Republic of China to issue emergency alerts yesterday for the provinces of Fujian and Zhejiang.
The toll of dead and missing people from flooding in southwest China rose today above 200, with Sichuan province worst affected.
8 people were injured, 3 seriously, in lower Manhattan on Thursday as a result of an explosion and a partial collapse of an as yet unknown cause in a 5-story building in Chinatown. On Pike Street, near Henry Street.
Actually, I know what happened with that. I didn't realize that we had already started this story earlier in the program. So we're going to get to that in the next episode, or in the next segment after Gregory Crawford's rant, his weekly rant. But it's funny what happened, so I'll tease you with that. A commuter train derailed yesterday in a Paris suburb with at least 8 people dead. Okay, we're going to take a break now. Greg's going to do his weekly rant, which is a really great one this week, and we'll be right back.